Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. Welcome to the MemberHub for Communication and Compliance workshop. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. We will answer the questions at the end of the workshop, if time permits. Our presenter today is Gina Ward. Gina Ward has been a member of the MemberHub customer success team for over 2 years, providing live chat support, assisting with MemberHub email support, as well as state PTA relations. She has volunteered in various levels of PTA for over 5 years and believes MemberHub is a great asset for any PTA. I'll turn it over to Gina and mute myself. Welcome, Gina.
Hi, thank you. We'll go ahead and get started. I just want to first say we are covering MemberHub for communication compliance, and this is we are expecting a new release coming out within the next week called MemberHub 21. So what you're going to see today, it may look different than what you already see in your site, and that's because this will be MemberHub 21. We were expecting it this past week, but we come up with a little hiccups and everything, but we're looking at the beginning of next week to release this. So hopefully you will enjoy this. So today we are going to be covering the compliance module overview, creating and setting up hubs within your site, newsletters, messaging and text messaging from your site, managing your contacts within your organization, the directory, and the calendar. Now, the first area to discuss is the compliance module overview. So the purpose of this area is to take care of all of your compliance tasks required by your state PTA to maintain compliance. You would enter your officers, submit documentation that you completed any of your necessary requirements, such as bylaws, audits, your 990 insurance, just some examples. So to get to that, you would click on the compliance module on the left-hand side after logging in, and then you'll see these different areas. So the first one is officers. So when you click on the officers, you're going to see this screen here, and all PTAs are required to submit their officer information to their state PTA. Whether you guys are required to put them into MemberHub in New Jersey or not, I don't know the technicalities of it, but this is a way that you can send your officer information to your state PTA is through MemberHub. So you would basically click add officer and you would add the officers. You're going to enter all necessary information to add the officer. You can choose to send them an email and even enter a personal message when you add them as an officer as well. And this is what it would look like, that officer screen here as well. So the next area is submissions, and this is where you're going to submit all of your documentation for compliance. Each state has different compliance requirements in their state, and these are just a few examples of insurance confirmation, bylaw submission, budget, and so forth. You can see when the most recent one was submitted, and you can see the due date for that specific submission as well. So you would click on whichever one you wish to submit, and when you click on the compliance documents link, it will take you to the compliance documents area. So like you would basically put in this information, you can click add document and upload the information. Now, the compliance document storage area, that's the compliance document area. You would click on the folder for that submission you're uploading, and there's actually 5 folders for all areas of compliance. When you upload it in the submission area, it will actually show up here, or you can even upload additional documents in any of these folders as well. The last area of compliance has its own module, but I wanted to point it out as well, which is the memberships module. This allows you to manage your membership list. That's where you're going to enter those memberships that were paid by cash or check. You can edit your different membership types here. In the current version that we have right now, you would do that within your store, but now it's all here in this one area where you would go under your memberships module, and you would submit your state dues through here as well. And submitting your state dues, you just simply click on the button. You can see all of your past payments. You can click send manual payment and put in the information, or you can send an ACH payment. And when you do the ACH payment now, it's actually a little bit more simple where it's Stripe instead of WePay. So with the new update with MemberHub 21, you would just simply put in the account holder name, which is the name of your PTA, not your name, but the name of your PTA with your account number, routing, and the account holder type is going to be company. So then you would, if you want to save this so you don't have to enter your banking information every time, you can check the box to save it and then save your banking details. And this will actually just automatically submit the payment. There's no process of having to verify those micro deposits like WePay has and everything. It's just a simply type in the information and click submit. So hubs are for grouping people within your organization to communicate specifically to only those people and not everyone within the site. Many of you may be familiar with the old member hub where your organization's in an everyone hub, and then you would create hubs within that hub and so forth. Well, that's no longer the case, and you only need hubs for specific groups of people like committees, or if you still prefer to group your parents by grade or class, you can do that as well. So from the old dashboard, you would have clicked admin console and so forth. But from here, it's just communications and hubs. And you can click add hub here to add new hubs. And the settings, when you create a new hub, all you have to do is type in the name and you would select the parent hub for it. You don't have to have a parent hub. You can put it within your organization. So if this is a separate hub outside of your organization, you can do that as well. When you're viewing the list of hubs, if you click on these three dots over here, you can actually view the contacts within the hub and even edit the settings of the hub. And you can add contacts just directly by clicking the add contacts button. The hub settings, you can change your parent hub within the hub settings or even the name of the hub. You can also choose whether you want your contacts to be able to send messages and create events that are in this hub, or if you don't want them to be able to do any of that. You can also make it where only your site admin can see this hub, or you can make it open to everybody to be able to join the hub, or they would have to request to join the hub. The next area we're going to cover are communications with newsletters. Newsletters really, the key difference between newsletters and messages, newsletters allow you to be able to send a message, a continuous campaign of messages with the same subject and so forth. So a newsletter with maybe like a weekly newsletter or a fundraising newsletter that you're continuously sending out, reminding about that newsletter or that fundraiser and so forth. So you would go under communications, newsletters, and you would click add message, or you can copy one of your existing ones. Copying one of them just really keeps the template and the people that you're sending it to. You can edit that and so forth. Add message creates a whole new message. And when you click add message, you're going to be able to choose your campaign. If you've already created a campaign for this message that you're sending as the newsletter, you would select the existing one, or you can start a new campaign. And if you're starting a new campaign, it automatically calls it new campaign. So you can actually edit name to change the name of the campaign. Within the messages, you can choose to send this to all of your contacts. You can select specific contacts by clicking contacts and picking which ones. Your contacts have roles within your site, whether it be admin, parent, or something like that. And you would be able to select the different roles within it, and you can even choose hubs to determine which hubs you want to send this message to. Newsletters have different template layout, and you can pick a different layout however you want to set up your newsletter, and then edit it and so forth from there. And this is what it would look like when you're creating the body of the newsletter, and you would put in all your information that you want, and once you're ready, you would just click save. And you can either schedule to send it out at a specific time, or you can click the send now button to send it immediately. And once you've sent it, you'll see a message, either it was scheduled or it was sent, and you could even share the message on social media if you have any of these accounts for your PTA. Simply clicking on these will take you to the login screen for that account, where you would just log in and you could post as your PTA for on any of those platforms. Now, if you've scheduled a newsletter and you need to cancel it, you can actually click cancel send. Once the newsletter is already sent, though, there's no way to cancel it. This is just if you've scheduled it and then you were like, hold up, we're not ready to send it yet. Let's cancel that send, and then you can edit it. This is what it would look like. So within your newsletters, if you need to see how many you sent, how many have opened it, and how many have clicked within it, you can see all of that here within the analytics of the newsletter. You can also, if you click from this screen here, if you click view campaigns, you'll see all of the different campaigns. And if you select a specific campaign that you want to view, then you can actually see all the messages that have been sent within that campaign and how many people have unsubscribed from that newsletter. And if you click view unsubscribe, you'll actually see a list of all the emails that have unsubscribed from the newsletter. And you can see specific analytics for each email sent within that newsletter. The next part is messages. So messages is just a slight bit different from newsletters. Newsletters, you cannot send a text message like you can with a message, but you also cannot really see the unsubscribed. Like when you send a message, you can't see who's unsubscribed from that message that you've sent. But to get to messages, you would just go into the communications module and click messages. And it works in the same way, except for the fact that there is not a template like newsletters have. So you just have the body of a message. So everything else in messaging is the same in the process of sending it, selecting your recipients and so forth. And once you send it, then you're going to get this window pop up that your message was sent, and then you can choose to send a text or continue without sending a text message. One feature that is new with MemberHub 21 is contact properties. So within the contacts, if you go to contacts and contact properties, you're going to see where you can create different properties for your contacts. The properties can be a variety of different things. If let's say that you want to track who is a regular volunteer within your site, you can create a property where interested in volunteering, or have you volunteered before, or something like that, some type of question where they can answer it or you can answer it. You can set those properties to be visible for only your site admin, or they could be visible for everyone in the site to be able to see as well. So an example of something public might be teacher name, student name, or something like that. And you can also create filters to search these contacts by these specific properties and save those filters so you can automatically pull up that list. And that filter can be used in sending messages, creating events, and so forth. To manage your contacts, you would just go to the contacts module and click manage contacts. And if you wanted to add a contact, you would just click add contact from that page, and you can change where you're wanting this contact to be added. Let's say it automatically pops up that you're adding them to your organization, but you can edit that. You can change the role. If you want them to be an admin, you can add them as an admin here. You can even choose to expire their role at the end of the year and select what year you want them to expire. And you can even send them an email letting them know that you've added them. And if you choose to send them an email, you have the choice of adding a personal message as well. This is what basically, as you can see, this is our test site. So I have 3 contacts in here and 2 of them are me. But that's what it's going to look like when you look at your contacts. You can see each contact, you can see their email, you can click on the 3 little dots to get more actions for that. You can select them, 1 or more contacts by checking the box and sending a message. You can filter it with your saved filters that you've created. You can add properties. You can also filter by those properties and so forth. You can also upload contacts from here. You can also export your list of contacts from here. And you have contact settings that you can edit within this page. So this is what the contact looks like. Each person has their own profile. They can click the little person icon right after they log in, and they would be able to see this as well for themselves. Site admin can see a full view of the contact with all of their information. You can, as a site admin, you can edit that. You can remove them from the organization. You can add more roles. One thing that the old MemberHub did not allow people to be in multiple families. And nowadays, when you have split families, it helps to have multiple families, be able to have one person in multiple families, like a student and so forth. So you can put them in multiple families now. You can view their membership card from this page. You can see their address, and then any properties that you've created. These are just some examples, like they did date of birth, favorite hobby, hair color. We just played around, teacher's name. You can see the different hubs they're in. And if they have children at multiple schools, so they're in multiple sites, you can see all of the different sites they're in. And also I wanted to mention that the properties over here will not only show the properties you've created for your site, but also the properties that other sites that they're in has created that they have an answer for that, you know, a specific property for that. So you'll be able to see all their properties within their contact profile. The directory is the next thing we're going to cover, and it's very similar to the contacts list, except that it's a little bit more limited. You can set it up to determine how much visibility is visible in that within your directory settings. You can sort this list by individual or family by just simply clicking individual or family over here. You can filter it by alphabetical, you can search by name and so forth. But the profile is very similar, except for what they have chosen not to show and what you have set in your directory settings as well. Your directory settings, so you can choose to limit it to only your PTA, just like we have currently, or you can have only your site admin be able to view the directory, or have it open to everyone within the site. You can choose whether or not you want to allow them to export the directory, and also every profile has a map view. So do you want to show the map view to users or not? And then also, like I said, system profile fields. So what fields do you want visible in the directory? If you only want the name and email address, you can do that however you want to set it. If they have their profile fully open and you limit it to only these fields, that's all that's going to show in that directory. So within the calendar now, there's one calendar, all events for hubs and so forth are all created within this one calendar. So you can come in here and you can view it as a list, or you can view it as a calendar. You would click new event to create a new event. And with the event, you can choose to make it public. So if you made it public, that means that anybody can view it. They don't have to be, they don't have an account. They don't have to have an account in MemberHub to be able to view the event. But if you want it to where only the people in your site can view it, then you would leave that unchecked and not make it a public event. You can also choose whether or not you want it to add it to your calendar. This is where you can actually set it if you want only specific contacts to be invited to the event, or roles, or even create the event for a specific hub. You would select that within the attendees. Once you've created the event, if you click on it on the calendar, everybody will be able to RSVP if it's something, you know, if they were invited, they can RSVP by just simply clicking on the event. They'll also get an email where they can RSVP for the event. If you're an admin for either the hub that the event was created in or a site admin, you can actually edit the event to be able to view the number of people who've been invited and how many people are coming with each of them, as well as their RSVP. And you can actually edit their RSVP. So if you invited someone and they were not able to respond on their own, but told you verbally that they were coming, then you can update that here. Or if something's come up and they tell you they can't make it now, you can come in and change that. You can add more attendees, and you can export this list of attendees with their RSVP within the calendar. So that pretty much covers everything we've covered today. If you have any questions, now is the time. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. That seemed to go faster than I expected. I apologize. But I also want you to know you're not alone. This is going to be a big learning curve somewhat, and I hope that it's a bit more intuitive of a site with MemberHub 21. We've been really working on trying to make it very user-friendly. But if you're ever in the site and you do have some questions, we have this little chat widget, this little question mark here. It's called a help widget, not a chat widget, but I say chat because I do the chat mostly. So you can always start a live chat with me, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. You can also even search our help articles. We have updated all of our help articles currently for the MemberHub 21. But if you have any questions, we're always here to help. And if you think of something later, you can always email us at support@memberhub.com as well. And so now for questions.
All right, Gina, there's quite a few questions in the chat. I'm going to go back up and look. adding an attachment, um, that was questioned by Kelly. I don't know if you saw that.
Okay. Let me start. I'll just start at the top and start
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah, that's fine.
So executive board members, yes, all of your board members. So it's set up now where basically your state PTA will be able to log in to their state site, and they can go to any local unit site as long as they're identified as a state admin within their state PTA. And the same thing for councils or regions, the region and council leaders, as long as they're identified as a admin on that level, they'll be able to go into all of their local units within that region with their one login. So there's no additional logins or anything like that. All of your officers at your local unit have access to as a site admin as well. Will membership entry be able to download from an Excel form instead of entering each individual person? Can you make your screen smaller? So first of all, the membership entry, it's going to work the same. If New Jersey PTA, I don't know if you guys allow local units to upload your membership list directly in the local unit. I know many states have different guidelines on that for being able to upload. But if your state PTA allows that, you can actually upload your membership list directly into your site instead of having to manually enter one. That's currently right now available if your state PTA allows that. And yes, you can customize who has access to your site. You can set up who has access to who can be a site admin. You can adjust all of that within their contact roles. Adding an attachment, so you can send messages you can send pictures within the messages. There's apparently a lot of little issues with trying to email an attachment in a mass emailing system. So there is not a way to attach a file to a message. It potentially, from my understanding, it's like spam filters and all of that will reject those messages typically. So you can still upload files to hubs and so forth, but it's not possible to send attachments in a message. The mobile app is, once MemberHub 21 comes out, the mobile app, I wouldn't recommend using. I don't think it's going to work with the new platform. It will be very outdated by that point, and hopefully in the future we'll have a new mobile app, but I'm uncertain on that answer. So I wish I could give you a clear answer on that one. We'll be able to CC on sent email. Example, if I'm sending a bulk email to all members, but I want my executive board to know, or principal, can they be added? Yes, you can add specific contacts to the message. When you're sending the message, you can type in their contact. As long as they're a contact within the site, they can be copied on that message. You mentioned earlier, add PDF to the body of the email. That's just not a possibility at this point. Yes, all sites will be upgraded with the MemberHub 21 launch. So when you sign in, you'll see a whole new dashboard and everything. There will be data. Everything that you have currently in your site is going to be shifted over to the new site. I think they said that they're going to keep the legacy system available so that you can go back and reference anything or anything like that for a period of time, but it's not going to be very long, from my understanding. If you're a member of multiple PTAs, you'll be every PTA for how many PTAs you're involved in. Yes, only to the site admin for that organization. So that site admin would be able to see that you are in multiple school PTAs when they view your profile. My understanding is in the directory that is not visible. That's only in the contact information. The map view in the directory would be basically if you have your mailing address in your profile, it will show a map view of your address. And that can be turned on or off. It's just an extra feature within it. What if you are charging a fee? Can you link to the store for the fee? That's a great question. I think that you could probably put a hyperlink to your store directly in the event so that when you send the invite to the event, they would have to click the link in the invite to go to your store to be able to do that. Signups are no longer in MemberHub. We are partnering with signup.com. And so there will be a link in MemberHub that will take you directly to signup.com. And you will have to have an account, of course, setting up the sign up, but everybody in your organization will not have to have an account to access your sign up. It will be a public link where they can sign up, volunteers and so forth. That has been a constant struggle in MemberHub with our signups being in MemberHub and people having to have an account to log in and sign up. So now we have partnered with signup.com to basically make it a smooth transition over to that and so forth. And yes, you can archive previous year's products. That would be a store question, and we'll go over more tomorrow with the store. And could you add a link in the message? Yes, you can add a link in a message, and the link could take it to a PDF or a photo. The photos, you can upload photos in the messages now. It's a very smooth process to be able to just click add photo and select the photo. And there's also, if you're doing like a newsletter and it's like just a generic photo, you can actually search the library of photos as well. And the newsletter feature is already available. It's already in the site. So, okay, I think I answered all the questions.
Yes, you did. You did a great job answering all those questions so quickly and thoroughly. Is anyone else thinking of anything that Gina can answer for us? Like Gina said, MemberHub is a great tool. Obviously, you just have to dive in and get your feet wet and try to figure out how it's best for your individual PTA. Very informative. Okay. So what part of MemberHub do you like most, Gina, as far as how you have used on the local level?
I like the messaging part and the membership. I'm in Alabama, and our first year that we started using MemberHub, I was VP of membership for my local unit, and I was very excited to have the ability to submit a payment electronically rather than having to hunt my officer, my president and treasurer down to sign a check to mail. It was a lot more convenient to just text them and say, hey, I need you to go online and click this button to submit payment, you know?
Right.
So that was a big deal. And being able to sell memberships online. Before we had MemberHub, we used a Square reader and we could only sell memberships in person. So there was a lot of cash taken, a lot of forms. And the following year, when we fully used MemberHub, I was the PTA president that year. And I was like, well, we're going to sell memberships online this year. And I opened it up July 1st, and we reached 100, which our school has had 100% membership for over 30 years. But that particular year, we had it much sooner than we normally did. So it was a really big deal. And parents were a little hesitant to get on board the first year. But now we just finished our third or fourth year using it, and they're all familiar with that. How do I log into MemberHub again? I can't get in. And so that is definitely the membership, and also being able to send emails to all of our parents through MemberHub has been a big help.
Yeah, that's a big plus. One-stop shopping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean fundraisers, everything.
Right.
And this year it has been even more beneficial that we managed to still reach 100% in spite of the pandemic. That was not expected, but MemberHub has definitely helped us do that.
Right. Okay. Soto family has a question.
Hi. You may have mentioned this before, and I may have missed this, but our individual parents have to create their own MemberHub account, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Now, with the MemberHub 21 release, when they purchase something in your store, not just a membership, but anything, they are automatically added as a contact in your site at that point. So currently, before MemberHub 21, only if they purchase a membership are they added into your site. Now, all they have to do is purchase Spiritware, and they're added into your site, and they're able to get your emails and so forth. I hear a lot of questions in chat usually that are like, how do I message everyone who bought spiritware? And it's like, well, they're not really in your system. So you're
Right.
going to have to export an order list and then upload all those contacts in your site. And if they're already in there, it's just going to update their information. But if they're not, it's going to add them in there. Then you can message them. So it's a long process, but now being able to add those contacts already when they purchase something in your store is a huge plus. Something about getting more families to adopt using MemberHub. Really, the biggest thing is just encourage them to go on. And really, the MemberHub 21 release is not necessarily going to need parents to use it so much, but necessarily just to get their contact information so that you can communicate with them. Your admin are going to be using, your officers are going to be using MemberHub more than the parents now. They can use it for the directory, which is a big plus. And you can tell them if you want to view the directory, you can go here to set up an account. Your contact information is already in here, so they would just use the sign up process to get in. But for signing up for volunteer sign up and stuff, they wouldn't necessarily need to be in, and they don't need an account to access your store or anything like that. But getting their contact information in there to be able to message them and send them emails is a plus. And yes, you'll be able to message people who order spiritware. It may be still a little bit of a process, but you're not having to upload those contacts, but you can actually export your orders and find those contacts, group them into a hub specifically for spiritware orders or something like that, and send them a message by that as well. Or even just selecting them from the contact list and sending them a message.
All right. Does anyone have any other great questions?
I do, Gina. So nice to see you. You said your school has 100% membership. That is truly amazing. So can you share some tips on how you accomplish that every year? You said for 30 years.
Right. Well, first of all, we guilt our parents a lot. I mean, it's 30 years. So it's like, come on, you can't break our streak. I think this year was 32. It's like, you can't break our streak. I mean, we've got 32 years now. Come on, we need your help. And so we really do push a lot. They probably get tired of us after a while. We do have parents who kind of push back, but we also have parents who are like, how close are we to reach 100%? Can I just sponsor a bunch? And they'll sponsor some people. Right. And that happens a lot. We do get a lot of sponsors more than anything. But let me also clarify, we are a magnet school. We're a small elementary magnet school for our district. We start the year at 700 students. We end about 650, just because the academics are so stressful for a lot of the kids that they end up dropping and going to their local school rather than staying. So I think a part of that has a little bit to do with it. The parents are, being at elementary school, being a little bit smaller, and then a lot of the parents have no problem just sponsoring for the ones who just get tired of hearing us.
Yes, membership is always a challenge in all different. Elementary probably the easiest because everyone loves their children in elementary school. Right. The other grades, I don't know so much, but my kids are all done. So, yes. But any other questions about MemberHub? It's definitely a great tool. Share what you know, what you're doing with your PTA and MemberHub on the New Jersey PTA local leaders, because whatever you're doing is helpful to someone else. We can end a little bit early if we want to. I don't want to cut anyone off. When will 2021 launch? Christine was asking. Are you asking about MemberHub 21? If so, we're hoping within the next week, early part of next week. The projected date was a couple weeks ago, got pushed back 2 weeks, which would have been this past week. And we reached some hiccups with some data. So we had to, reset, and we're potentially hoping with this within the next week. All right. Yes, there are. If you go to support.memberhub.com, and let me type that in. That site has a library of tutorials. You can search by any
Word and look it up. If you still can't find the article that you're looking for, I think I just sent you a direct
Yeah,
message
just-
instead of posting it to everybody. I just realized that.
I'll copy it.
Okay. You can also email support@memberhub.com, and that will, we can answer, that will send us a support ticket where we can answer it. Melanie and myself tend to answer all of those within 24 hours. I'm here on the weekend, so I'll check before I leave for the day to see if there's any tickets that need to be answered.
Okay. All right, any other questions? I don't want to, if anyone's thinking, your wheels are spinning. We have Gina in front of us.
I do have a question. You had mentioned that there will be something covered tomorrow for products. I don't see it in the workshop. Am I missing something?
Let me check for tomorrow. It's Sunday.
I think it's at the same time using your MemberHub store and fundraisers.
Okay, got it. I see it now. Thank you.
Yeah, session number 6.
I have a question. Is it still possible that you could sell advertisement on the page, on your membership page?
That is a very good question. I don't have an answer for that. And if you email us at support@memberhub.com, I can get you an answer. I don't want to bug people on a weekend to ask them, but I can get you an answer on Monday, potentially.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, I think we're probably going to make it a wrap. Thank you, Gina. It's been a pleasure to have you with us today. We thank everyone for attending our presentation, and please do not forget to complete the workshop survey that you will receive at the end of convention. It's almost cutting time for lunch, so enjoy, and thanks for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.